Have you ever wondered why certain events affect you so deeply, while other people seem to be able to move on quickly? Today we're going to talk about why that happens, and why sensitivity and trauma are so closely connected in the nervous system. I'm Madeleine Lowry, a neural retraining specialist. In the last episode, we talked about high sensitivity and how people with sensitive nervous systems are often more prone to immune dysregulation, chronic symptoms, and sensitivities to food, chemicals, or the environment. Today, I want to explore another piece of that puzzle: trauma. Because one of the most important things to understand about highly sensitive people is this: sensitive people are not necessarily exposed to more trauma than others, but they are often more impacted by it. And when those experiences are stored in the nervous system without being fully processed, they can contribute to patterns of anxiety, chronic symptoms, and nervous system dysregulation later in life. So what do we mean when we say trauma? When we hear the word trauma, many people think of extreme events: war, violence, catastrophic accidents, and those are certainly traumatic. But from the perspective of the nervous system, trauma has a much simpler definition. Trauma is any experience that overwhelms the nervous system's ability to process and integrate what is happening. In other words, trauma is not defined just by the event itself. It is defined by how the nervous system experiences and stores the event. Two people can go through the exact same situation. One person may be able to move on easily, and the other may carry that experience in their body and mind for years. And the same person may be able to go through a situation at one age that doesn't feel traumatic, but at a younger age was very traumatic, simply because the capacity of the nervous system was different at that time. So for sensitive individuals, this difference becomes especially important. Highly sensitive people tend to have nervous systems that process stimuli more deeply. Research on highly sensitive people suggests that their brains often show greater activation in areas related to emotional awareness, empathy, and sensory processing. That means they may notice subtleties that others miss. That means they may feel other people's emotions more strongly. They may process experiences more thoroughly. And all of this is truly a tremendous gift. But it also means that stressful or overwhelming experiences may leave a deeper imprint. Events that might seem relatively minor on the surface can register as highly significant to a sensitive nervous system. When people hear the word trauma, they often think, well, nothing really that traumatic has happened to me. But when we look more closely, we often find experiences such as being harshly criticized as a child, feeling emotionally dismissed or unseen, witnessing conflict in the home, being bullied or socially excluded, experiencing sudden loss or instability, growing up with unpredictable caregivers. For a sensitive child, or even a sensitive adult, these experiences can be deeply impactful because the sensitive person's nervous system is more receptive and more impressionable, and those impressions become patterns. Let's talk about how trauma becomes a nervous system pattern. When a stressful event occurs, the nervous system goes into a protective response: fight, flight, freeze, or shutdown. Normally, once the event passes, the nervous system returns to balance. But when an experience is overwhelming or repeated frequently, the nervous system may store the memory with an emotional charge. This charge can later trigger reactions such as anxiety, hypervigilance, overthinking, fatigue, emotional reactivity, or chronic physical symptoms. Over time, these responses become automatic patterns. The nervous system learns to stay on alert even when the original event is long over. And so why are sensitive people more prone to chronic symptoms? This is where sensitivity and trauma intersect with health. If someone has a nervous system that is highly perceptive, emotionally responsive, and deeply processes experiences, then unresolved stress can gradually accumulate. The nervous system may remain in a state of heightened activation, and that persistent stress response can begin affecting other systems in the body, including the immune system, the digestive system, sleep regulation, pain perception, and hormonal balance. This is one reason sensitive individuals are more likely to experience conditions like chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, autoimmune conditions, food sensitivities, anxiety and panic, or sensitivities to food, chemicals, and environmental factors. It is not merely psychological, it is neurobiological. But the good news is that sensitive systems are also quicker to rewire. The same nervous system traits that make someone more impacted by trauma can also make them more responsive to advanced neural retraining. Sensitive people with sensitive nervous systems are often more aware of internal sensations, more receptive to meditative states, and more capable of noticing subtle shifts in emotion or physiology. These qualities can make neural retraining particularly effective because neural retraining works directly with the subconscious patterns stored in the nervous system. Rather than analyzing events intellectually, we are allowing the mind to neutralize the emotional charge associated with past experiences and the programming that is connected with that. And when those charges dissolve, that programming can change, and the nervous system can finally relax. Patterns that once felt automatic begin to loosen. For many sensitive individuals, the most powerful realization is this: the problem was never that they were too sensitive. The issue is that their nervous system had accumulated too many unresolved stress imprints. And once those imprints begin to clear, sensitivity often transforms from a burden into a strength. People frequently report feeling calmer, more grounded, less reactive, more emotionally stable, and more comfortable in their own bodies. If you consider yourself a sensitive person, it may help to understand that your nervous system has simply been doing the best it can to protect you. It has been responding to experiences that felt overwhelming at the time, but those patterns are not permanent. The nervous system, your nervous system, is remarkably adaptable. And with the right approach, it can learn new ways to respond to the world. If this resonates and you identify as highly sensitive or empathic, know this: your sensitivity is not a problem. It is an asset in your quest for healing. If you would like to learn more about this work, please visit tcneuralretraining.com. Schedule a free consultation by phone or take our free quiz. And if this episode resonated with you, please follow the podcast, give it a positive rating, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Content of this podcast copyright 2026 by Twin Cities Neural Retraining. Music by Barbara Ben.